Hello, Teacher Amanda here with VIPKID. I've got some quick tips on how to pass your demo and interview. So if you are prepping and you're wondering what to do and what they're looking for, you've come to the right place. Let's dive right in. First off, TPR, total physical response. What does that mean? It means we're gonna use our facial expressions and our bodies and our hands, all of our person, to communicate and show what we are saying. So if I'm, gonna talk about a certain animal, let's say it's a duck, I can show them duck, quack, 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 not just say the word. If I'm saying, how are you? I'm not gonna just be expressionless and say, how are you, Henry? No, I'm gonna say, how are you, Henry? And then listen. So it comes down to all these physical movements that show what it is that we're saying. So think about meaningful movements, not just random, like, hey, I can move my hands, but what will convey what you're actually saying. Correct mistakes is tip number 2. So basically, if you're doing the live interview, your interviewer will likely make a few mistakes, and you can make sure to listen for those and correct them gently and positively. We never say, no, wrong. We always give a positive correction. Good job. I am fine. Good. And that would be if they dropped like the word am, they said I fine or something. If you aren't doing the live interview, you can still pretend to correct a mistake or two in the pre-recorded version. So just do a correction as if your pretend student had made a mistake. Number 3 is speak slowly and simply. So this is probably one of the biggest challenges, especially if you've taught in a traditional classroom. You have to remember some of these students are starting with no understanding of the English language or very, very little. And so we have to really choose our words wisely, speak at a much slower pace, and speak much more simply than we normally do. So if I'm introducing something like the fox, I'm not gonna say, hey, look, this is a fox. I would simply go, Henry, fox. Good, right? So take out all those extra words and just simply get their attention and introduce the concept. Try to just trim away as much excess as you possibly can. This also applies to like transitions between slides. You don't need to say, okay, next we're gonna, oh look now, we're gonna, like we often wanna fill that space. Don't do that with online ESL teaching, because it's just gonna confuse them and they're gonna think they need to repeat everything you're saying. So just stick to what it is that you're teaching. Let there be a moment of silence if there needs to be, it's fine. And just speak in as few words as possible. Try to do 2 to 3 words at a time with these like level 1 students. That for like the demo, you're really catering to a lower level student. So you really wanna keep it very simple. So it's good to record yourself and listen and see if you can kind of condense a little bit more. Number 4 is have fun with it. Be happy and energetic. Part of this is just me saying lighten up, don't overthink it, don't stress so much, but it's also important because the energy and the vibrancy that you can convey, is gonna make a big difference in your teaching and the engagement of your students. You need to have fun, let them know that you are enjoying this. How much more engaged are we when we watch someone that seems to be enjoying what they're doing and is passionate about the subject? So have fun, be silly, bring your own personality to it, get out a guitar and like a real one if you want, or I have a little play one somewhere. I think my daughter took it to play with, but you can pretend to sing, you can dance around, have a good time to engage these students and make the material more fun. Bring it to life, right? And number 5 is props. I would recommend definitely having 2 different types of props. I have several printouts in a Facebook group, which is listed below. If you want some free printable props, you can go ahead and click that link. But you need 2 types. So in addition to like a paper prop, you would also need something like a whiteboard or a puppet, which these are all things that are really useful. First of all, flashcards are huge. It's a really great way to illustrate, the letters and how those letters actually form into a word. Flashcards are extremely versatile because we are, focusing a lot on the alphabet and phonics, so these are used frequently. A whiteboard is one of my favorite props because it's everything. You can use it to draw an item from the lesson. So if we're saying A is for apple, right? You can draw an apple and now you have one. That was a really terrible apple. I feel like I normally do better than that. You can also use it as a reward system. I have 3 whiteboards. I probably could have like 10 and use them all. You can use it as your reward though. You can say, okay, great, you get a star, or whatever reward you want to use. You could have like one whiteboard as your reward system, another one to illustrate things throughout the lesson. There's several options that a whiteboard is useful for. So flashcards, whiteboard, and a puppet is another really, really important one. I got this like set of 2 puppets at Target for, I don't know, I want to say like $3 or something. But they are so useful, mostly to illustrate conversation. If you think about from the student's perspective, they don't know the difference between when you're just talking versus when you want them to speak back to you, or when you're trying to show some sort of conversation. They don't understand that very well. So having a puppet can be so helpful. So I could say, what is your name?
My name is Henry.
Hi, Henry. What is your name? Good, right? So just showing that break apart in the conversation, and that will help prompt them to speak. Plus puppets are fun. It's a great way to do like high fives, and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I just use these if they're distracted and they need more engagement. Puppets are really, really useful. So those would be my top prop recommendations: whiteboard, flashcards, puppet. You can do it yourself with a sock if you want, like put some fake eyes on, whatever. Don't need to spend a lot of money, but props are useful and they will help you out, and they will help the student understand more quickly, so you don't have to say so much. You can really show more quickly. All right, let's see. I think we're on number 6 now. I'm bad at counting sometimes when I'm going through a lot of tips. Synthetic phonics. I do have a video, the link will be down below, on synthetic phonics, but this primarily is important because when people aren't familiar with our language, then if we add like an extra sound to a lot of our letters, then they're gonna pick that up and then they're gonna pronounce things wrong. M is not m. N is not n. So we're gonna take off the and allow them to have that improved pronunciation right off the bat. But it's important because they will pay attention in your interview to see if you have picked up on those synthetic phonics or not. A frog in my throat, I don't know. Okay, and modeling. This does involve TPR a little bit too, but modeling basically means show them how to do it first. Don't just say, okay, Henry, circle the mouse, right? Pretend this is a mouse. I'm gonna draw a terrible mouse. I'm not gonna say, okay, circle the mouse. No, I'm gonna show them. Circle the mouse. Circle the mouse. So you are showing them, and a lot of times if you do it one time, then on the next exercise, they're gonna understand so much more quickly, and they may start doing it completely on their own. But make sure to show them. You can do this on every slide in some fashion. Show them how to do it first, and then prompt them to do it independently. Kind of take the training wheels off slowly. Aim for 70% output from your student. We want to get to a point as they get through VIPKID where they're speaking 70% of the time. How is that possible? You're probably wondering. Well, we use things like our whiteboard and modeling and TPR so that we're speaking less and we are prompting them to speak more frequently. Wear orange. It's kind of like not required, but a lot of people have said you might get bonus points for wearing an orange shirt. It does show motivation and that you know the company color and you're really on it. So I would recommend wearing a plain orange shirt if you can. If you can't, not the end of the world. Again, it's not required. And look professional. Try not to look like you just, rolled out of bed. That kind of is a given, but just in case you thought that was a good idea. Educational background. So, something simple. I've got numbers and colors and my name and some school objects here, but you can do something really simple. Make sure you're well lit. I have some, this is gonna be a weird video here. I have some simple lights here that I use that I got at Target for like $3. They're LED and they're very bright. But just get some sort of lighting even from around your home to light up your face and the background behind you so they can see your pronunciation and your beautiful smile as you are teaching. And that pretty much covers it. If you have any more questions, please connect with me. My information is below. I look forward to hearing from you, and happy teaching. If you'd like to stay up to date with my latest tips and tutorials for VIPKID, make sure to subscribe. And if you're ready to apply, go ahead and use my code AMAND0374 and I'll reach out to you and help you along in the hiring process.